Ooh, welcome back everybody. Last we left, I died to the Hydra. So I made it to the first boss the first time and died, made it to the second boss the second time and died, so I'm on a pretty good
Hypnos must be on
progression, I
point.
think. No, no Hypnos.
Someone's at the desk next to the throne. Who's that sniveling shade to your immediate left there, Father? Already found someone new to do the busy work. And here I thought I was utterly indispensable.
That shade boy is my newly designated contractor. One whose responsibility is to work on this house. Though who shall pay for everything my subjects here demand, I do not know.
You're trying to guilt me into funding the exorbitant furnishings you desire.
Perhaps once we are finished with repairs for all the carnage you have sown throughout my realm, then we might finally have time for all the needed renovations that have piled up.
Nice.
So, here's the House Contractor. He offers lots of great stuff.
Special offer for me, my good shade.
And this is what we spend gemstones on for the most part. Is upgrades at the House Contractor. These often affect the rooms in which that we can find during escape attempts. So like for example, our first freebie here is the fountain chamber for Tartarus, which adds to the random pool of rooms in Tartarus one that has no enemies and it has a fountain to restore some health. So if I buy this, that means every so often I'll get to a fountain chamber, which also comes with some kind of benefit, whether it's a boon or darkness or something like that. You also can get an Infernal Trove to spawn every so often, which I can talk about that once we get there, but basically it unleashes several enemies, and the faster you kill them, the more rewards you get. Beyond that, you can change things in the House of Hades here. So like in the Great Hall, I can change the trim, I can change the drapes. These are almost all aesthetic. The only ones that aren't really aesthetic are here in the work orders. Everything beyond that, for the most part, is aesthetic. There are a few exceptions, I think. So like here, seating in the West Hall, nothing in the lounge. And then I can get some bed chambers. Like this is not purely aesthetic. It'll tell you how many enemies you've slain and how many escape attempts you've done, but it doesn't add anything. It doesn't make you stronger in any way. And then court music, more on that later. But for right now, you want to stock up on all the work orders. Those are important, because those are going to make you better at the game.
Work authorized. A fountain chamber in the depths of Tartarus sounds like an excellent idea.
And the more you buy, the more you unlock. So now we also have keepsake collections, which between each region, so that room after the boss, did you guys notice that you had the fountain and then there was a big blank space, and then you had the Well of Charon and the Pool of Purging? Well, that blank space can give you a keepsake collection, which means you can switch your keepsakes between regions. And since I don't think we've gotten any keepsakes during this playthrough, so I'll explain that as we go. Fated List of Minor Prophecies. Oh boy, what to say about that one. It gives you a bunch of like quests to do, and then lesser urns make it so that chambers sometimes have special urns in them that when you break them give you gold. 5 gold. So out of all of these, easily the most important one is the Fated List of Minor Prophecies. You want to get that as soon as possible.
How about this, contractor? The Fated List of Minor Prophecies. That sounds somewhat exciting, I suppose.
You requisition that useless bit of parchment.
Ooh, and I unlocked the ability to increase the amount of health that fountains give me. And that's not just the fountains I randomly discover in Tartarus. That includes the fountains after each boss. So this is really good. Do I want to save up for that, or do I want to go ahead and buy one of these? And the answer is tough. The plunder is really good, but it's only good if you're really powerful, because then you can quickly kill the enemies, which give you more rewards. This is also like, it's good when you start building up keepsakes, but since I don't have any, it's not that good. So I might just save up for this. I'm actually going to check my notes. I kind of took some notes onto which one's more important, which one's must have. Under my must-have, I do have troves, and I do not have fountains. That's interesting. So maybe I will go ahead and start working on the plunder. Yeah, because if you buy the plunder, that gives you chances to get more resources, and one of them is gemstones. So like this could lead to more gemstones, which can lead to more plunder, and it just goes round and round and round. So we'll go ahead and do
The
that.
ever-shifting chambers of the underworld ought to be a little livelier with this.
Would that your birthright gave you better sense.
Still coughing a little bit. Alright, but that's enough for now. Now let's go talk to everybody. Achilles is always over here.
Happen to know whom I should thank for the weapons just outside my chambers, Achilles?
I'm sure I wouldn't, lad. Though if I happen to run into them, I'll let them know.
Sometimes I always come up here, sometimes Dusa is hanging out up here, which I don't think we've met her yet. That's a great one.
What once was a small lounging area within the House of Hades now is sealed off, in utter shambles since the multi-headed Cerberus tore the space apart, warning the missing prince.
Cerberus destroyed the lounge again. Nyx must be someplace else.
The prodigal son returns. Everyone's saying I went easy on you, Zag.
Oh yeah, because I beat her last time.
Don't worry, Meg. I eventually managed to get home the painful way after all.
Look, I have a reputation to uphold. You get past me again like that, you best go all the way. Now leave me be and don't think you're gonna be so lucky next we meet out there.
Alright, so that's everybody.
Hey, that must be the fated list.
And yes, we got the fated list.
The fate-abetting prince perhaps believes it was through his own choice that he procured the fated list of minor prophecies, but it was preordained.
Oh no, not this determinism thing again.
So this is the thing we're actually going to be working on for a majority of the playthrough. It
Fated list
includes
of minor prophecies.
several little quests, such as Is There No Escape, which is awarded for, well, escaping. And you get 1,000 darkness. That's what makes this so important. The rewards are crazy. 1,000 darkness is so much. And then, especially this early in the game. And then here, for meeting all the gods, I get 3 nectar, which I have not gotten any nectar yet, so more on that later. Meeting all the chthonic gods gets you 10 chthonic keys. Getting every boon from Athena at least once gets you 150 gems. Unlocking every weapon gets you 60 gems. We'll talk about Daedalus enchantments here soon, but unlocking all of those for the Stygian blade is 200 gems, and doing the same thing for the heart-seeking bow is 200. So we're going to be working on those. Let's check out here. Can I afford any of these? Oh, baby. I can get greater reflex now. That's one of my favorites. Oh, and I can also afford this, but we're going to be spending all our keys on weapons first. Oh, and I can spend it on both of these, really. So what I like to do this early is I like to just go ahead and load up on these upgrades. They're all good for the most part. There are varying degrees, and there are times where I'm definitely going to want to save up for something over spending it on something else. But since 500 is so expensive at this point, I don't think it's worth it to save up when you can go ahead and get these for really, really cheap. So what I like to do is just get whatever the cheapest one is. Pardon me. And since these are tied, what's more important? Dealing more damage or having more life? Well, since life is really hard to come by, whereas damage is not, I'm going to go with this. And since I can't afford the next round, I'll get this. So now we're sitting pretty. By the way, that first one, Shadow Presence, if you didn't read it, it deals extra damage when striking foes from behind.
Skelly.
What's up, boyo?
Hey, Skelly, you look like you know your way around Tartarus. Found some of this ancient Titan blood out there, and I was looking to score some more.
Ah, you come to the right place regarding that there, pal. It's your mean weapons back there that can find this stuff. Once you get all the way through Tartarus with one, that's all the blood you're gonna get. For the time being, anyhow.
How am I supposed to keep track of which weapons I've earned these with, then?
I don't know. There's always the invention of writing stuff down. You'll figure something out.
So, as I explained in my last video, every time I kill a boss with a weapon, I get a special item. Excuse me, the first one being Titan's Blood. You get that whenever you beat Megara. But the catch is, when you beat Megara with one weapon, if you beat Megara with the same weapon, you don't get Titan's Blood again. You only get it the one time per weapon. So it helps you to diversify these weapons, which is why it's so important to go ahead and unlock all of them with the keys first, rather than the mirror upgrades. With that big ol' 500 darkness for one of those upgrades, you always have stuff to spend your darkness on. So by the time you unlock all the weapons, you're still going to be spending darkness, so you don't have to worry about, running out of things to do. What we can do then is buy these, and notice how this one's glowing purple. That's important, and also the reason why I'm going to get this first, and the fact that it's cheaper.
Open up. Aegis, Shield of Chaos. Lend me your power.
Hey,
So
that's pretty mean.
So now we got Aegis, Shield of Chaos, and you can hit square to bash, and the shield, since it being, offensive and defensive, knocks people away. Which I both like and dislike, because I like to be right up in people's faces. Well, it's hard to be in people's faces when you have to chase them around the room all the time. But it does knock people into walls to do extra damage. And I like how it can block. If you hold down the strike button, you block. And notice the little arrow. That means when you release, you do a bull rush. Just charges across the screen. And then also I like the fact that it has ranged capabilities with the special. And you can also upgrade that special to bounce off of people like Captain America. It's pretty great. Of course, you got your dash strike. Nothing special there. Okay, so this purple glow, what does that mean? Here, let me show you.
Stygius,
Switch back to
blade
this.
of the underworld.
It means
I need your
that.
strength.
It's what's called Dark Thirst. And what it means is if you use this weapon, it's always on one weapon, and it's always changing which weapon it's on. You get 20% extra darkness throughout the entire run. So since more darkness means more upgrades, and more upgrades means getting farther in the escape attempts, which then means more upgrades, and so on and so forth, I'm almost always going to be picking the weapon that has Dark Thirst attached. And also the reason why it's so important to unlock all the weapons first, so you can always get the weapon that has Dark Thirst on.
Empty for now.
Didn't think I had any keepsakes, because I haven't gotten any nectar. To make keepsakes, you need nectar. Oh, and I don't think I mentioned this last time, but there's also achievement.
Whoops.
Or there's a trophy for killing Skelly 15 times, so make sure you do that every time you get here.
Bet I got you pretty good.
Alright, so let's try again. My question is the third time the charm?
That looks like a Daedalus hammer.
Ah, and here we have Daedalus hammers.
Enchantments for my weapon.
So, a lot to talk about here. These are, as he said, enchantments for your weapon. They're like boons, except they're weapon specific. And you still get your one choice of 3 of them, and they're much harder to come by than boons. In fact, you're only, I don't know if you're guaranteed, I'm pretty sure you're guaranteed to get 2. You almost always get 1 in Tartarus, and then you almost always get 1 in Elysium, which, more on that later, but that's after the Bone Hydra. And they're also different than boons in the fact that they're way better, and way more specific. So these are often what's going to dictate what your build looks like. Do I want to build around my special after I dash, or do I want to do a lot of special and dashing? Excuse me, do I want to use my special just normally and when I'm close to other enemies, because then this will be helpful? Or do I want to do a lot of bull rushing, which is good because you're blocking when you do that. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to pick, but while I'm deciding, I do want to also mention the little scroll next to the name. Notice that's a fated choice. What that means is, since there is a prophecy in that new list I just bought that triggers when I pick every Daedalus hammer upgrade for the shield exactly once, I get, I think it was 200 gemstones. And so these little scrolls keep track of which ones I've picked. If I had already picked Dashing Flight in an earlier run, then there would be no scroll there. So it helps me to keep track, which I like. It makes it so you don't have to write everything down. Okay, I like the special on the shield quite a lot. I like Bull Rush, but I don't want that to be like my main thing. So I think I'm just gonna do Dashing Flight because I like to dash around and I like to use my special. So I'll just do that. And plus 200% is a lot. Triple damage.
Wherever you may be right now. Thank
So
you.
you got dash and special. See? Ooh, already taking damage. Look at me.
Each time the prince delves back into the underworld, its ever-shifting chambers realign to frustrate his attempts to perhaps map it out.
Built to ensure no one gets out. We'll see about that. That's what you get. That's mine. Wretches.
Notice, as I said, you can bounce the shield off of people like Captain America.
That must be a mess. Let's see here. Hi there. In the name of Hades, Eurydice, I accept this message.
Why, hello there, little godling. I have to say, you're quite the specimen, and so I've decided I shall aid you for the moment. You interested?
So here we have the lovely goddess of love, Aphrodite, complete with lack of clothes and everything. And her boons are all about weakness. They make you weak in the knees, which, as you can imagine, makes enemies deal less damage. In this case, it's 30%, and they last for 4 seconds. So, another thing I want to mention about Aphrodite that I didn't learn right away. Her buffs to straight damage tend to be some of the highest in the game. So, like, I think Artemis's is like, her attack is plus 20%. But Aphrodite's is plus 50. It's some of the best. So that's why having her on Harper Lake Flourish, my special, is going to be very good. Because on top of the plus 200% damage I'm already doing when I dash, it's now going to deal an extra 119%. So it's awesome. And it's going to inflict weak, making people, you know, weaker. So it's great. Offensive and defensive, all wrapped into one. I love Aphrodite. For more reasons than you're thinking.
Interested? In the power to break hearts? Sure, I don't see why not.
Okay, so now we got Darkness or Nectar. And Nectar is equally important and harder to come by than Darkness, so we're going to go with that. So if you were noticing, the last stream I was dealing 45 damage to everybody. Now I'm dealing 63, so quite a bit.
Who should I give this to?
Alright, so Centaur Heart or Palm of Power. Almost always gonna be the Centaur Heart. Dang, these numbskulls, man. Gonna be the death of me.
Nice.
Oh yeah, and I have 2 dashes now because of the greater reflex. Huzzah!
Feeling good.
Nope, can't afford anything. So, keys over shops. Oh, look at that!
Must be the fountain chamber I commissioned back at home.
Yay! So like I said, you get a free item.
This can unlock a weapon back at home.
Sorry if you heard that sneeze. And you get a free fountain, which means free health.
Crisp.
A place of calm and respite, whilst perhaps unimaginable in the underworld, occasionally is to be found, in fact.
and not a moment too soon.
Ooh, alright. That's a boon. I won't spoil which one, but if you know, again, know anything about Greek mythology, you can already guess who it is. I don't think I've ever seen my shield go around in a circle like that. Yeah, like that.
Anyone else? There's only one heavenly archer I know of. Well, several, really. Anyway, in the name of Hades, Olympus, I accept this message.
I heard about you. Look, I'm not like all the others on Olympus. The power of the hunt helps keep me company, so maybe it'll help you too.
So now we have Artemis, goddess of the hunt. She's kind of a loner god. She'll talk about herself as we go along in this game, but I just want to say I love the little birdies on her bow. And she is all about critical attacks. This is, as far as I know, no, I guess not, but it's one of the only ways to get a critical effect on any of your weapons. There is no like natural critical strike chance, but these can add that to your stuff. And they always deal the same thing, they deal triple damage. So like with Deadly Strike, you get a 36% boost to your attack damage, and you get a 15% chance to deal triple damage. So they're definitely pretty good, but like I was saying, remember, that's an epic Deadly Strike, and it's only 36%, whereas the standard Heartbreak Strike from Aphrodite was 50%. So Aphrodite gets a way better damage boost than most. And I do also want to mention that no matter what the rarity is, the critical chance is always the same. The only thing that changes is the straight damage bonus. But I'm tempted to do this because I'm dashing around a lot, but I'm not dash striking, I'm doing dash and then special. So I don't know what to do actually. We'll just do that.
The power of the hunt sounds like good company to keep.
Come forth, wretches, and stop this meddler.
So this is an interesting room. This will happen every so often. I'm pretty sure it only happens in Tartarus. But notice there's a timer in the top left corner. So what this is these enemies will spawn infinitely even if I start attacking them. So, but once you survive for the set amount of time, which I think is always 45 seconds, then they just all go away. So what I take this opportunity as, since this game is mostly about survivability, instead of fighting, since they just spawn forever, I just tend to do this. Dash around the room, wait for the countdown to end, and it's basically like a free room. Also notice the thing I keep passing up. See, there we go.
There.
This is the Infernal Trove that I requisitioned at the House Contractor. They either give you gold, darkness, gemstones, or health. I think that's it. It's not max health, it just restores health. And the way it works is if I were to do this trial, then a bunch of enemies would spawn, and the 100 health would start counting down slowly. And it'll keep counting down until I kill all the enemies. So the faster I kill them, the better the reward. But, as you can see, I'm at full health. So this would be pointless. It's too bad too, I wanted to show it off. Oop, finally some armored foes. Ow. Now this is interesting. I'm gonna have to look this up. I think my Hunter's Dash affects my special here, because it seems like I'm doing more damage. I'm dealing 75, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I was dealing 63 a second ago.
stronger.
So do I want another fresh boon, or do I want to upgrade one of my existing boons? You almost always want the fresh one. Sorry, I'm still sniffling over here.
Divine arrow.
And see, also notice something right down there. Once you start talking to people, you can then start gifting them nectar. This is how you get keepsakes. When you gift one of the friendly characters nectar, you get a keepsake out of it. The keepsakes are really good. They help you out quite a lot. And the gods all have a specific keepsake that guarantees the next boon you find is one of theirs. So the gods are going to be quite integral in getting the build that I'm trying to go for at any given moment. And Artemis is a good one, because there's a build for several weapons, specifically the bow and the sword that I like to get, that requires an Artemis boon. So this just makes it easier to get that particular boon. Excuse me. But since I only have one nectar, I don't know if I want to do it right now. So the question is, how quickly am I going to get other nectar? The one I really want is Athena's, for reasons I'll explain later. And then there's other keepsakes from other characters that are not gods that are also very integral. So I'm actually going to save this one.
Olympus, I accept this message.
There's one I think I want to get first. Alright, so I got another Deadly Strike. I can replace, this is something I don't think has shown up, my Heartbreak Flourish with a Deadly Flourish. So remember, the Heartbreak Flourish was doing plus 116%. This is only plus 76, but you get a 20% crit damage, crit chance. Or I could do this, which is one of my favorites. Every time something I do hits, it fires an arrow. And it seeks out your enemies. So that is hands down one of my favorites. Only does 12 damage, but I'm attacking and dashing so many times. And since my shield bounces off of people, see, look at the arrows. So good. Max. But notice he was weak, so he only did 6 damage instead of the usual 8.
A key to a weapon.
2 keys? Ugh. So here's another option, right? Is I got another mini-boss room with darkness in it. And the mini-boss rooms always get you more of whatever that resource is than you normally get. Normally I would get 10, which is actually 12 if you've been paying attention, because my shield has that Dark Thirst boost that I talked about before the run. Or I could just get the standard 1 key. And since the keys are so important, I currently have 5. It takes 4 to unlock the next weapon. We're gonna do this. Keys are this weird thing, I think I might have explained this already, that are one of the most important resources in the very beginning of the game. But once you unlock all the weapons, which doesn't take too long, then you start working on the mirror. Once you unlock all the mirrors, which takes a lot longer, but still not crazy long, there's really not much to do with the keys after that. It's really just that. Ooh, a shop. Point is, there's a big drop-off in the necessity for keys.
Charon's shop.
They go from being the best to the worst really quickly. So, I can't remember, did we? Yeah, we've talked about Charon before. Make sure you talk to him every time you can as well, or every time you get to his store. And I can gift him a nectar as well, but I know what his keepsake does. It's not that great, but we'll get it eventually.
Hey, Charon. If there happens to be something really horrible awaiting me beyond that door, then give me a sign, won't you? Great.
Alright, but I am gonna buy the 30 darkness.
Should come in useful.
Excuse me if I'm sniffling into the microphone.
I'm back, Meg.
Even if you manage to get past me, there's no getting out of Asphodel. You saw what it was like. You really want to go back there?
It's not a matter of want. The way out is there, in that direction, past the River of Flame.
You're more stubborn than your father. I never thought that such a thing was possible.
Excuse me. Ow.
Come closer. One for a little man.
This is great. One of the things I was having trouble with was getting up in her face and then dashing away quickly enough to avoid her big AoE. Now with double dash, it's easy. See? Oh, and now I can block them all. This is so great. Shield is good. It's not one of my favorite weapons, but this is the fight it's best in, I think, because of that right there. Just nullifies her, what I think is her hardest attack to get around. And ta-da!
Yes. This holds some sort of power, but for what?
And see, since I've never beaten her with the shield, I got Titan's Blood.
Well, Father.
Where do you think you're going?
You know exactly where.
So do I want to sell anything?
Should I take the
No.
trade?
No. No. Do I want to buy anything? No. Yes! Yeah, it's only 19 gold. That's a pretty good deal.
See you, Tartarus. In the bag.
So back in Asphodel.
Asphodel.
Within the suffocating heat of Asphodel reside the vast majority of those who lived upon the earth and died. There they persist until the end of time.
Or until I crush their bones to dust.
Nice.
Skull crushers.
Oh, these guys are fun. Walk up to them and they do that. So you can stun lock them too.
Almost there. She'll keep me going.
Oh, hey. We talked about story rooms. Well, guess what? There's one in each region. I think we talked about story rooms in a previous video. But the Tartarus one had Sisyphus. So who's in the Asphodel one? Always take the story rooms to begin with. Because as their name implies...
Here?
Yeah, that's weird. As their name implies, it progresses the story.
Come on in.
So this lady,
Okay.
She's got, yeah, okay. It's because it looks like she's blocked off. Oops. Can't step in the magma. Can't go through this, but as I also
Dash kick
described
through that wall, I
before,
think.
you can dash through walls. See?
Hey, you must be the Hades kid. How's it going then, your royal majesty? Nice to meet you. I'm Eurydice. What brings a big, important guy like you up to a place like this?
Hi there. No need for formalities, I'm Zagreus. Just heading out on some official business, past the menacing bone hydra. Don't mean to be rude, though I'm in a bit of a rush.
Well, don't you have your hands full, hun? I'll let you go. But there's one rule in my place, which is nobody leaves here empty-handed. You got that? So take your pick. My treat.
So Eurydice is, as the title card implies, a carefree muse. She's connected to another character that we'll meet later. But she is a forest nymph, I think. And as you can see by the spread of cooking utensils in front of her, she always gives you a treat. It's always these same three, and they always do the same thing. Ambrosia Delight upgrades 2 of my random boons to the next rarity, so if they were blue, they turn purple. If they were purple, they turn red. Excuse me. Palm Porridge basically acts as 4 random palm of powers. Upgrades 4 of my boons plus 1 level. So the palm of powers does less of a benefit than the rarity does, so that's why you get 4 of these versus only 2 of these. And then you've got Refreshing Nectar, which makes it so the next 3 boons you have upgraded rarity, which I don't think I've ever picked, because you're only gonna, the next 3 boons you find have upgraded rarity. So it just upgrades the rarities of your next 3 boons all by 1, but by the time you get to Eurydice, you've already picked the core boons to whatever build it is you're going for, so everything after that is just going to be kind of, you know, cherries on top. Whereas I'd much rather, excuse me, increase the core of my build. Like, for example, right, I'm building around Heartbreak Flourish, so I don't want to upgrade the rarity of the boons I'm gonna find, because they're not gonna be as helpful as upgrading Heartbreak Flourish itself. And the other thing I balance is how many boons do I have. So since it's all random, if you have, you know, 6 boons or 7 boons, then you're picking 2 at random. The chances that one of them is the one you want to upgrade is not gonna happen, whereas 4, it's much more likely to happen. So I usually look, and that, by the way, Dark Thirst does not count. Daedalus hammers don't count. So I really only have 3 boons. Oh man, I thought it was over whatever this is. And since all 3 of them are, you know, equally good in whatever build it is I'm going for, I think I'm gonna go with the Ambrosia Delight, because I can't think of a 2 boon combo that I would be disappointed in.
Coming right up.
Perfect.
Ooh, that's good.
So we get a heroic Hunter's Dash and a rare, or excuse me, an epic Heartbreak Flourish.
Thanks again.
Take it easy.
Very, very good. This is about to be ridiculous. I tend to hate Asphodel for this reason. People just jump around. It includes very large rooms that everybody just hops around and you have to chase them down. So dumb.
Okay.
So we got a random pool of purging, but I don't want to get rid of any of my boons. They're all great. I do, however, want another... Ooh, wrong button. Want another Aphrodite boon.
Barge of Death again, huh?
Back at another mini boss arena. See, they keep jumping around. Stop jumping.
Aphrodite.
So I still only have one nectar. I still think I'm going to save it, but Aphrodite's another god I'm definitely going to want to focus on. The ones I want to focus on are Aphrodite, Artemis, Athena, Ares, and Dionysus, and I think that's it. Oh, and Zeus.
In the name of Hades.
Anyway. So I can just resist damage, which is good when I get hit, so I'm not trying to get hit, especially since I'm being quite a ranged attack pattern. So I think I'm going to go a different league. Could go with Heartbreak Strike though. That could be pretty good actually, because I'm looking like I'm attacking almost as much as I am special-ing. I think I'm just going to go with the rarer, or the more rare boon. Oh yeah, I just noticed something. Every time I exit a chamber, thanks to the upgrade I bought at the mirror, I gain 1 health.
Who dies first?
So I finally have a way to heal myself. Ooh. Keep forgetting about that stupid Inferno bomb at the end. Speaking of Dionysus.
Ever, Zag. Now you keep at it like you have been, and I bet we'll all be hanging out up here in no time flat. I'm with you all the way.
I love Dionysus. Alright, so, ooh. These are 2 very good ones. This is one of my favorite, to be honest. Makes it so fountains restore all your health and give you a damage bonus. And since there's a fountain after each boss, the earlier you find it, the better it gets. If you can find it in Tartarus, that means you're going to get a minimum of 12% bonus damage. And it's just sky's the limit from there. It's really good. And after every boss, you don't have to worry about how much damage you take at the end, because it's just going to fill right back up. You just have to make sure you don't lose your Death's Defiance, because that you can't replenish. Or this is very good early in the game because nectar is just harder to come by. So this just gives you a free nectar. I mean, that in and of itself is almost good enough to pick. But in addition to that, whenever you get nectar, including the one that this gives you, you get an extra 25 max health. So it's like a free centaur heart on top of every nectar. Now normally, like on my other play profile where I have everything, this would be an easy strong drink because I don't need any nectar. But since we're so early in the playthrough, I really need some nectar, so I think I'm actually going to pick this one. Even though this is clearly better in my opinion in the long run.
Cheers, mate.
I'm not expecting to make it all the way through on this escape attempt, so I'm kind of thinking in the short run. Since I'm not going to make it all the way anyway, I might as well go ahead and pick up the nectar while I can. That kind of thing.
Power of Olympus.
Ooh, and I can upgrade my Heartbreak Flourish, which is perfect. Excuse me, a whole 32% more. Alright, here we go. Attempt number 2 with the Bone Hydra.
I wouldn't mess with me if I were you.
And now I can block his stuff. Stay back at all times. Block. Attack. Dash back. Special. Yep, here we go. So he's impervious when he does that. Again, until we kill all 3 of his heads. All 3 of his heads do different stuff. The blue one slams on the ground, like that. Another blue one. All of them will charge at you. Try to bite you like a snake. And then the green ones spawn little eggs, and if you don't kill the eggs quickly enough, see there they are, then they spawn little creatures. But the eggs die really quickly, so it's pretty easy to contain. And now he will be vulnerable again. There we go. Haha. Stopped him mid-attack, and now I got his 6 heads to contend with. Notice they're all different. Isn't that just lovely? And all the while, he still just stands back and shoots the main head. It's kinda ridiculous. Not to mention unfair. That's alright. We're doing... Oh, well, getting cocky a little bit. I was about to say we're doing okay. Alright, so now it's just him to deal with. Oh. I forgot in phase 3 he does 3 head slams before doing that. Bit of damage there, but he's almost dead. Ta-da! So the bounty I get for killing the Hydra is always
Should fetch me something good
a diamond. And just like the Titan's blood, whenever I kill the Bone Hydra with a different weapon, I get 1 diamond, but if I ever kill the Bone Hydra with the same weapon a second time, I will get darkness instead of diamonds.
You're going nowhere, boy.
And see, if I had strong drink, this would fill up all my health.
Do I still need these?
Well, let's see what's in the well. If there's something really good in the well that I need money for, I'd be willing to sell different league. But usually the prices, yeah, prices don't get that high very much. In fact, I'm pretty sure the most expensive thing in the Well of Charon is 200 gold, which I already have. Notice one of those also ensured a treasure trove at my next available moment.
Long way from home. And check.
That's better when my treasure troves get upgraded. And it's always risky because you could get the health one. And if you have full health already, like that first time, it's useless.
The Fields of Elysium.
And so I've made it to the 3rd region. I forgot this is the first time I've done this on this playthrough.
The rare heavenly splendors of Elysium, reserved for only the most great of mortal souls, spread forth luxuriantly all about the fire-stepping prince.
Luxuriantly? Really?
So Elysium. Here, hang on. I'll show you.
You know, if I was permanently dead, maybe I wouldn't mind all this.
You can think of it like paradise. The underworld is split into 3 regions according to Greek mythology. Elysium being, if you want to compare it to Christianity, like heaven. It's paradise. Whereas Asphodel, where we just left, is more like purgatory. That's where most of the people wind up. And Tartarus, well, that's where all the bad souls go. That's your hell, if you want to call it that. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. We're going to explore Elysium in all of its splendor. I mean, look at this. When we get back. Until then.